Hello everybody, welcome to a new tutorial. Recently I worked on a video, a Star Wars video, and we wanted to have a scene in there, a space scene, where a spaceship was flying to a planet. I went to YouTube and watched how other people made planets, and that helped me out a lot, but it didn't give me quite the realism I was looking for. So I messed around myself. That's what I came up with. As you can see, on this planet it has some clouds and there's like oceans. I actually photoshopped those out of Google Maps and then just made my own custom specular map for this planet. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make something similar to that. Gonna look a little bit like this. This kind of has a dusty take on it. So let's get right into it. Okay, first thing we need to do is get a texture for our planet. So let's look for one on the internet. For this example, I would just use Mars, but I know that there are other textures out there that you can use. So yeah, I'm just gonna use Mars, and there's this website called Solar System Scope or whatever, and it has an 8K texture of Mars, and you can see it's really detailed. So we'll save this to the desktop. And that's all we need basically. So let's go into Cinema 4D and create the start of our planet, which will be a sphere. And so this is going to be our planet. So we need to put a texture on this, or a material. So make a material. This material will load up our Mars texture. Then you just press no. Let's turn off the reflectance because our planet doesn't really reflect. And we can turn on normal, and this will bring out a little bit of bump in the planet. So we'll push this up 15% or something. So now we have a planet that is textured, and when we render it out, you can see it looks really good. And you can actually get pretty close to this. I mean, once you get to a point, it's gonna start looking like crap. But so before I do anything else, I'm just gonna switch my render settings over to physical, because if you're gonna be using this for animation like I did, then you'll want to be working on physical to see how long it's going to take to render out. Plus it looks better, and the anti-aliasing makes the edges look smoother. I'm actually going to color my planet so it looks more alienish, so you don't know that it's Mars. So I'm going to make a layer. I'm going to make this a layer right there. I'm going to add hue. So I can change this. I'm going to make it a little bit more yellowish. And then I'm going to bring down the saturation. And the lightness a little bit. I'll also add contrast. Bring up the contrast just a little bit. That's looking better. Okay, wait. I put this on my normal. So let me just copy this. So yeah, I was supposed to do this on the texture, that's why I wasn't really doing anything. But yeah, it's fine. I don't need to take it off. I'm actually gonna turn the gamma up a little bit more. I'm actually not gonna make it as white, I guess. I'm gonna make it a little more yellow. There we go. That is weird. I put this on the normal. I meant to put that on the bump. So I'm gonna put that onto the bump mat instead of the normal. And the bump will make it bumpy. Or you can make there be craters by turning it down. About like 20 not too much. Second step, we need to add a light, which is going to be our sun. And so we're going to add an area light. This will give us more realistic shadows on our planet. So it's going to be a little kind of like rose gold, goldish color. And turn up the intensity like to 150. And in the details, as you can see, we have right now a really harsh shadow, which makes it look like crap. So we're gonna turn the contrast down. This will make the shadow fade out more. So that looks a lot better. I'm going to real quick just change the contrast. It's a little too much. Alright, so this is looking really good, and from pretty much any angle it looks awesome. Now we are going to get started on the atmosphere of the planet. So to do that, we are first going to copy and paste this planet right here, and we will rename this rename it inner atmosphere. Okay, then we'll scale this up just actually take the texture off so we can tell that it's different. Okay, we're gonna scale this like just to 200, because right now our sphere is 200 centimeters around, so we want our inner atmosphere just to be like barely, so like, yeah, 200.1 looks good. And on this, we are going to make a material, a unique material, an atmospheric material. So we're gonna check transparency, uncheck reflectance for now. Inner transparency, we're gonna make actually a Fresnel. And then we'll go into this Fresnel, and as you can see right now, you can see that wherever we look, so it's going to be thick, kind of thick in the middle, and then it fades as it gets towards the edges. You can see right here, but we want it to pretty much do the opposite of that. So let's put that back. Let's switch these around. So now you can see it gets thicker towards the edge of the atmosphere, but we want to have it fade out again. Whoops. Okay, no, there needs to be white right here, so we'll add a knob. So now it fades out on the edge just a little tiny bit. We want it to fade out. So we'll go like this or something. Now when we render this, you can see it gives the planet, makes the planet look like it has an inner atmosphere. And the reason you have to make sure your sphere is very close to your planet is because if it's bigger like this, you can see the gap basically. The outer atmosphere we make is going to take care of that. So I'll scale that back down to like 200.1, and let's put a different color on this. So I'll make like a brownish, tannish type color, I think. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Actually, let's go back. I'm going to go back to the transparency, and I want this to not go completely to black, but instead, or actually, yeah, this beginning one is not going to be completely white. We're going to make it like 98, or actually, let's do like 95, so that it's covering more of the inner, so it's more evenly spaced out. And then also this, we don't want to be completely black because we want to be able to see through it a little bit. So we'll turn that to like grayish. So it's still like way, oh, you can see something's happening over here now. You can see the very edge for some reason. That is weird. Let's try. Let's turn down the mix strength so it's not as strong, and change my color to more reddish. Still have a line going on over there for some reason. Maybe if we change our light settings, we can get rid of that. Oh yeah, I think we need to add a shadow. Yeah, that should take care of it. Yeah, alright. So that looks, well, a lot better. I'm gonna turn the, I'm gonna make this not completely black, but I'm going to also turn back up the mix strength to like 60. Alright, so that looks good. I think my light is a little too bright, so I'm gonna turn the intensity to like 120-ish. You can see we'll do without the inner atmosphere. And that looks, yeah, now that looks so crappy. So now we turn on our inner atmosphere and you can see it really smooths everything out and it looks realistic. So now we need to add the last part of our planet, which is the outer atmosphere. So for that, we are going to do a little trick that I discovered, and that is using a spotlight. So with the spotlight, we're gonna have to turn it towards where the light is. So we'll do negative 180. Then we want to grab these and then throw them back basically, so that they are 90 degrees. Alright, so we're going to be using this light not to light anything, but to use the visible light, and so we are going to check visible. So now when we render this out, you can see there's like a halo, and it's way too big and it is not the right color. So we are going to shrink this by just grabbing this and pushing it back towards our planet. Okay, still can't see it. Let's move in, or let's actually not use inner and move in the whole thing. Alright, so you can see it's kind of getting better, but we still want it to be thicker than that. So you just, the more you move it out, basically, the more you're gonna see it. But you can see it's creating these artifacts because it's lighting up the inside of our planet, kind of, because it's still light. So what we're gonna do is make it so it ignores all the objects in the scene. All we want to do is see the light. We don't want the light to interact with any objects. So we're going to go to our light, the atmosphere. Let's actually rename this to outer atmosphere. And let's go to project, and then we will drag all the, or everything in the scene pretty much. So we do want this atmosphere light to ignore everything, so that there are no like artifacts. Yes, we're not getting that weird stuff anymore. You can see that our atmosphere is going a little too much into the dark side of our planet. So to fix that, we can move this in just a little bit, and that, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's a lot better. Maybe that's a little too much. So that white is really standing out right now, and so we will just change the color right now. The color, I like to just eyedrop part of the scene and then just see what that gives me. And yeah, that looks a lot better. It blends into the darkness a little bit better. If you want to create more of a earthy atmosphere, then you can make the outer atmosphere blue, and the inner atmosphere you could keep the same, and it gives it a unique look. So we're getting like a really bluish glow. One thing you can do to make the contrast between the planet and the edge of, like right here, the edge of the atmosphere, you can go to details and visibility, and crank up the brightness, and then go to your intensity of your light and just turn it back down. That should make it a bit more sharp on the edges. There's just a whole bunch of possibilities on the type of planets you can make, even if you're using a not very unique texture like Mars. I like it kind of dusty-ish. You just gotta mess with the colors until everything starts looking natural. There's another thing that you can do, actually. Let's make this outer atmosphere bigger, and that's gonna put a bigger halo around it. Probably even bigger than that, actually. And we'll create another inner atmosphere. This is like the same type of concept with the visible lights, except now we can crank up the intensity on this one, and it should give a more like sharp edge. Okay, we need to bring it out more, I think. But yeah, so yeah, this is looking better. You can see there's more of an inner atmosphere, and then you still have your kind of fade, so fade from the atmosphere. And yeah, so for an 8K textured planet, it renders pretty fast. Yeah, with the inner atmosphere and outer atmosphere. Make sure your project is ignoring, your lights are ignoring anything that's going to be in your scene, because now you probably will be able to tell. Yeah, you can see right there in the viewfinder, you can see this super bright spot of the cube here. That's all coming from the light of the atmosphere. So we'll put the cube in the ignore, or have the light ignore the cube. I'm actually gonna see what it looks like. I'm curious to see what it look like if I turn down the saturation of the planet now that I have a atmosphere. So yeah, that makes it look really unique. So yeah, you just kind of have to play around with it. One last thing we can do is make some stars to bring our planet to life. So we will drop in a sky, go up to here, drop in a sky, create a new material, and drag it on there. And to make our stars, we're going to uncheck color and reflectance, and then we're going to go to luminance. Then the luminance, we're going to use noise. Actually, we're going to make this a layer, so go to layer. In our layer, we'll go to the noise, and these will be our small stars. So the global scale, we want to turn that down to like 1. I don't know. We want to bring the low clip up, the high clip. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, way too many stars. So let's turn the low clip up and the high clip even higher. And that is better. Just a little bit too many. So low clip even higher. Now that looks better. So let's add some color to our stars, because the stars aren't all perfectly white. So we will add, we'll colorize. Actually, let's not colorize. Let's add a noise shader. Add a noise shader. The color, we'll do blue. Do like blue and then gold, I think. Yeah. The global scale will turn up a lot. We'll go up and we'll change. Oh, wait, we actually want to change this to multiply? Yeah. Okay, so you can see that now our stars are going to be either red or not red, but purple and yellow, except they are way too intense right now. I'm going to change it to like 50 or 60. Yeah. So that looks good. So that's pretty much it. We have an awesome looking planet with an inner atmosphere and an outer atmosphere, and it looks great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.